Welcome back to the Press Club. Apart from reviewing the stories making news, we also discuss media matters. In this case, media matters is also part of the news. The media, somebody stopped me at the supermarket during the week and asked me, how come I wasn't making waves like some of my other colleagues? And I asked, what do you mean by making waves? And he suggested that you're not in the news, you're not getting any lawsuits. And my response was, that's because I'm doing my job and trying to do it properly. But the media has been very much in the news in terms of litigation launched by politicians against media houses and journalists for libel and other issues. We've had, as in the Star today on page 6, another Choice face says goodbye, referring to Miguel Fabria's departure from Choice Television, following closely on the heels of Timothy Pollio's departure from the same TV station. And the question in everybody's mind, what I'm going to pose to you, what the hell is happening in the media?
Well, keep watching DBS, folks. Big stories coming close to you, right here.
Yeah.
No, I think that, and here's where I'm going to go into my different shades and colors and my different hats. I'm speaking here as me, as we normally do, as two journalists, and this is not an interview, us interviewing each other. There continue to be seismic shifts in the media. Like you said, 3 weeks ago, or last week, it was Timothy Pollio and Clinton Reynolds, the president of the Media Association, and this week Fabry has been thrown in. There was another big media story this week that has made the news, so I'll just I'll sleep on it until people realize that there's another big media story that took place this week. But that having been said, I think one of the good things, I don't know for you, but one of the good things I think coming out of the potpourri, sometimes I refer to it as a tragic comedy, because it's really just short of tragic what is happening. If tragedy has to do with death, we're helping probably kill and stifle ourselves when we have situations where we don't know how to respond and remove the person out of it. And you and I always talk about the need for us to be able to know when to wear many hats and when to just be ourselves, but never to forget that we are individuals and citizens, as well as being journalists. But we also have to realize that those of us who are newsmakers, we make the news by making it and delivering it, but we should not be the news. The news ought never to be about us, and this is one of the principles of journalism. So when we find ourselves in problems as a result of what we say, what we write, what we show, what we do, we have to understand that there are differences between the things we do and say on our own and the things we do and say on behalf of others. And if we do and say things on our own and find ourselves in trouble, we cannot expect that everybody else are just going to be like sheep and say, well, all right, a colleague is in trouble, we don't care what is the problem, let's just come to the defense of that colleague. And when that doesn't happen, as a colleague, you don't go about describing other colleagues as traitors, using terms as 30 pieces of silver, actually soliciting support and accusing persons who do not give that automatic support of being traitors, etc., etc. You don't go as a president of the Media Association on live TV and tear up a letter that is asking you to apologize for something that you did or said. Unfortunately, what we have is an effort to make the current issue regarding litigation in regard to defamation, each of which have arisen, and the letters that have been sent around have been sent out by an individual, not by a media house, not by the President of the Senate, not by the Chairman of the Labour Party, not by the host of a program, but it is an individual reacting to what he considers attacks on his character and utilizing the legal means open to him to defend what he considers his character having been under attack. The issue at hand, when it took place, neither of the players were holding the positions that they have now. So it would be unfair to say that Clinton Reynolds received his letter because the government wants to go after him as the president of the Media Association, because Clinton did go on radio on Tim's show and said that the government is coming after him as president of the Media Association, and therefore the viewers, listeners and readers out there better understand that it is their interest that is under attack when he gets a letter. It is being made to appear that the president of the Senate, backed by the Speaker of the House, you know, are going after Timothy because they don't like him, because the Labour Party doesn't like him. Even reading and hearing suggestions that the Labour Party has taken over. In fact, it's in the Star today, references that the Choice TV has been Labour since the last election. And if that is so, and it is because it has been Labour since last election, then it is, why is it only now being discovered by those who don't want to be associated? So those of us who know, and all of us who are writing and speaking about that issue, we know what the issues are, and we know they are personal, more personal and private issues over time, involving individuals which unfortunately are being sold to the public in an election year as the government going after the media. But you know what? The best thing coming out of that is that given we have more talk shows, more media houses, and more discussions, there's more possibility for discussions, and you have more people calling and participate. So you have more people asking, what is media? What is the role of the media? What is the responsibility of a talk show host? What's the difference between libel, slander, defamation? What is contempt of court? When is a matter sub judice? All of these issues, we in the media ought to use the current landscape to better our own understanding of each of these issues. But then when we don't do it and we allow Timothy and Clinton to feel or to be able to say that they feel neglected by the rest of their colleagues here and the partnership because, you know, they're under attack. We're not all under attack. I don't feel I'm under attack. I'm not sure you, when the person told you why you're not, why you say you're not making waves, the guy must have heard the fact that for you to make waves in journalism, if you haven't had a libel suit against you, you're not a journalist. When I bought my motorcycle, after I fell, while I was there, was reading something called Why We Ride, and I Googled it, and it says the average cyclist in the States, for you to be a cyclist, you must have taken at least 4 falls. Now, I've only taken 1. I don't want I don't want a second one. Yeah, but it is the perceptions, again, perceptions. You and I can have
that for you to be considered a journalist, any journalist worth his salt, must have had
must have find themselves. So you and I, we have a long way to go because we don't go out there courting. Take for example, what are our emphases? The Panama Papers. The Panama Papers mentioned St. Lucia twice. I've only heard reference to once. And it was just the fact that Lord Tennant had his company in Panama before he moved it to BVI. But I will also say to you folks that the Panama Papers also mention a St. Lucian bank, and for all of the right reasons. And that is that a bank in St. Lucia, a launderer of an alleged money launderer, according to the Panama Papers, tried to launder $1 million US through a bank in St. Lucia, and the bank in St. Lucia, fortunately for it, detected it and prevented it. Now nobody has put that story out. You know, the bank wouldn't go out and say, "Hey, we just, we just did that." But the same, it's in the same document. Where the story of Colin Tennant is. Now, the Colin Tennant thing was a no story because it ended up saying nothing in this report suggests that Colin Tennant did or said anything wrong. But the report says that a bank in St. Lucia did all the right things, you know, that a bank should do to fight money laundering. So
if my memory serves me correct, Thaddeus Antoine, during his brief stint in the Senate, did allude to something of that nature, didn't he?
Pardon? He did?
Thaddeus Antoine?
Uh-huh.
While he was holding on in the Senate, alluded to the fact that we had successfully done exactly what you said. So even before the Panama Papers came
these
out.
issues don't, that's not the news we want to talk about. You know, there are international issues that affect us, and we could only follow them to the extent that we do follow issues beyond our horizon. I started talking about perceptions. You and I can have a healthy argument forever over whether a half glass of water is half full or half empty. And we can each hold on to our argument. You saying it's half empty, I'm saying it's half full, and we could go on and on because we know both of us right. You know, so can we both be right? What's the balance? What's the truth there? We're both right. So it has to do with perceptions. People look at me with these shades and I say, well, you playing a clown, or you like shades, or you been Rasta to the thing. Depending on who asks the question, I give them an answer. It's red, gold, and green. You could say that's Ethiopian. You could say it's African. You could say it's Rasta. Right now, I'll say it represents the colors of 4 different parties.
That's politically schizophrenic?
Yeah, you know. 2 green parties, you know, LPM and the Green Party, Labour Party, and the SLP. So I could give you 10 different stories about that shades. I can take it out and I could put another one. And then if I appear with this one, then, you know, Busquet ready bold-faced to be coming on the TV with a red shades. Everybody know he's Labour, so you don't have to come and rub that into people's face. So I would take it out and I'd go back to my white one and say, oh boy, tonight he played neutral. He ain't have none of the colors.
Either that or you're back in Janine Compton.
You know, so I don't care. What I'm going to do is continue wearing my red cap. And then somebody told me, a Labour friend told me that I'm spoiling it because it have a little piece of yellow somewhere. So, you know, and I almost call you Clinton.
That's okay. You know, we'll be the first person. Yeah. But we're out of time, unfortunately, Mr. Busquet. As always, it's a pleasure having you here. Pleasure talking with you about the issues in the news as well as issues affecting the media. And it's always a pleasure having you join us. Hopefully, we're still working on it, getting the show live so you can interact with us and we can get your feedback on the stories and topics that we discuss on the show. Hopefully that will happen sooner rather than later. But in the meantime, thank you very much for listening to us, for watching us, for joining us every weekend. We'll be back in next weekend. Hopefully you'll be with us as well. I'll see you next week.